I said, believe it or not, some of this is believable.
Recently, headlines exploded linking Kawhi Leonard to an unbelievable $28 million fraud scandal. And now, Stephen A. Smith is pulling the curtain back even further.
To do nothing, yet still collect payment. That's the Kawhi Leonard I know. Doing nothing and getting paid.
We're talking shady contracts, powerful figures behind the scenes, and an NBA superstar accused of pocketing massive checks without lifting a finger. This controversy is far bigger than it first appears. Let me lay it out. The $28 million setup. On September 3rd, 2025, journalist Pablo Torre dropped an investigative bombshell that rattled the entire NBA. His expose unveiled Kawhi Leonard's alleged $28 million no-show endorsement contract, a deal that may have secretly helped the Clippers stretch salary cap limits. Torre spent months combing through over 3,000 pages of court filings and spoke with 7 Aspiration staffers who spilled details on what they call the most elaborate salary cap dodge in NBA history.
Did you ever see proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. You didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous.
Now, let's look at the key players in this scandal. At the core of it all is Aspiration. Imagine this. A so-called eco-friendly digital bank, promising to plant trees and save the environment. Sound inspiring, right? Well, in reality, the company was as fake as a $3 bill. They raised more than $865 million, and at one point were valued at $2.3 billion, roping in celebrity promoters like Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., Drake, and even ex-Clippers coach Doc Rivers. But here's the twist. Co-founder Joseph Sandberg pled guilty to wire fraud in August 2025, admitting he swindled investors and lenders out of over $243 million. By March 2025, the company had collapsed into bankruptcy, dragging all their secrets into the open. And then comes our main figure, Kawhi Leonard. Through his company KL2 Aspire LLC, he inked a deal with Aspiration back in April 2022. But here's the catch. Unlike the other stars who were actively promoting the brand, Leonard was completely missing in action. No Instagram promos, no commercials, no events tied to planting trees or green initiatives. The only visible link was one Clippers tweet on Leonard's birthday in 2023, saying trees would be planted for every retweet. That's all. But then it gets even sketchier. The contract contained bizarre clauses that would make any attorney's jaw drop. Kawhi Leonard had the right to refuse any request from the company, which basically meant he could rake in millions while doing nothing. And here's the true smoking gun. Payments only continued as long as Leonard stayed a Clippers player. Seriously, that's about as obvious as a neon sign. Torres digging uncovered that ex-Aspiration employees straight up confirmed the deal's real intent was to cheat the salary cap. One finance team member even admitted they were told not to question it because this was to bypass the salary cap. The nerve. Then there's Steve Ballmer, the Clippers' billionaire owner with a staggering net worth of $173 billion. This guy personally pumped $50 million into Aspiration, which, oh so conveniently, rolled out a $300 million sponsorship with the Clippers in September 2021. Suspicious timing? Enough to set off anyone's spider sense. Torres' follow-up piece on September 5th uncovered yet another $20 million side arrangement, pushing the total close to $48 million, almost identical to Ballmer's $50 million buy-in. Coincidence? Hardly. And the middleman here? None other than Dennis Robertson, Kawhi Leonard's uncle, who's notorious for pushing outrageous perks. Remember back in 2019, when Robertson allegedly asked for things like team ownership stakes and private jets during Leonard's free agency saga. The NBA probed the claims but walked away empty-handed. Well, fast forward, and those same eyebrow-raising tactics are back in play. When Stephen A. Smith caught wind of this mess, he absolutely lost it. This was the moment he had been waiting years for, a chance to go scorched earth on Kawhi Leonard. And Torres revelations armed him perfectly. On First Take, September 3rd, 2025, Smith didn't just criticize Leonard. He tore him apart, piece by piece.
This is a man that did New Balance commercials, and the kids spoke, Molly. The kids. He didn't say a word. I've seen them go up to him and need him to sign autographs and fraternize with the public when he was sitting behind on the bench collecting about $40+ million, and he wouldn't do it. So he has spent years.
Smith's takedown was relentless. He called Kawhi Leonard a walking absentee ballot and claimed the whole getting paid for doing nothing angle made perfect sense. Because, in his view, that's Leonard's entire career pattern. Smith underscored that Leonard has missed over 40% of his game since becoming a Clipper, all while pocketing a jaw-dropping $43.3 million per year. And on top of that, zero promotional work, zero fan engagement, nothing to show for the paycheck. On his own YouTube show, Smith dialed up the heat even more, dissecting contract details and pointing out that the clauses allowing Leonard to dodge promotional duties sounded tailor-made for him.
When it says that Kawhi Leonard was getting $28 million, quote unquote, for a no-show job, end quote. That sounds just like Kawhi Leonard. No-show job. No-show job. Don't have to show up. Don't have to do a damn thing. That sounds exactly like Kawhi Leonard. Exactly like him.
Smith also called out Leonard's lack of promotional efforts, saying,
"He is the worst superstar I have ever seen in sports history."
He stressed that unlike other NBA icons who hustle, doing media hits, shaking hands, showing up, Kawhi Leonard does absolutely none of it, yet expects the superstar treatment. And Smith wasn't letting Uncle Dennis off the hook either, taking shots at him for masterminding the whole playbook of maximizing rewards while minimizing effort.
There's a perk to be had. He's going to get it.
Smith tied it all together, framing this scandal as just another chapter in a pattern of Kawhi Leonard's camp scheming to squeeze every dollar while doing the bare minimum. His harshest line came when he accused Leonard of holding the Clippers hostage and basically blackmailing the franchise into coughing up assets, only to then sit out game after game. For Smith, the shocking part wasn't even the fraud. It was how perfectly it fit Leonard's MO. Cashing in without clocking in. And the timeline? Brutal. KL2 Aspire LLC was formed on November 22nd, 2021, just weeks after the Clippers unveiled their Aspiration partnership. The $28 million contract kicked in on April 1st, 2022, with quarterly payouts stretching to March 2026. Bankruptcy filings later showed KL2 Aspire LLC was still owed $7 million when the company went under. It showed that partial payments were made, but the contract collapsed because of Aspiration's financial meltdown. And then came the NBA's hammer. The second Pablo Torres expose went live, the entire basketball world erupted into chaos. Social media was on fire. Fans split into camps, and league executives knew immediate action was necessary. Within hours, NBA spokesman Mike Bass confirmed they were opening a probe, declaring, "We are aware of this morning's media report regarding the LA Clippers and are commencing an investigation." And let me tell you, when the NBA react that fast, you know it's no minor issue. The public's reaction? Absolutely unhinged. On X, formerly Twitter, fans were flooding timelines with hot takes. Lakers supporters, still bitter that Kawhi Leonard chose the Clippers over them back in 2019, were reveling in it. Meanwhile, on Reddit, threads in the r/NBA community racked up 884 votes and over 303 comments, sparking a fiery debate. Some fans labeled it the biggest scandal in years that deserved crushing penalties. Others wondered if Kawhi Leonard was even aware of the scheme, pointing fingers at Uncle Dennis for orchestrating everything in the shadows. One commenter argued it didn't matter if it was Leonard or his camp behind it. The salary cap isn't something players are supposed to manipulate. That's on owners and GMs. Up north, the Toronto Raptors fan base was split. Some wish Leonard had never left, with one cheeky user posting, "Reverse time to 2019 and drag him back to Toronto. Adam Silver, you coward." Others shrugged, happy they got their championship and moved past the Leonard saga. The NBA's investigation is no small deal either. They're specifically examining violations of Section 13 in the collective bargaining agreement, which bans any side deals to pay players outside official contracts. If proven, the fallout could be brutal. Fines reaching $7.5 million under the 2023 CBA, loss of draft picks, voided contracts, and suspensions of executives for up to a year. Commissioner Adam Silver has always called salary cap dodges the league's cardinal sin. And if these allegations stick, punishments might dwarf the infamous 2000 Timberwolves case, when Minnesota lost 5 draft picks and paid $3.5 million for the under-the-table Joe Smith deal. Compared to Leonard's alleged $48 million setup, that looks like child's play. But don't think Steve Ballmer is rolling over. The Clippers' billionaire boss went live on ESPN SportsCenter on September 4th, insisting he was misled by Aspiration's executives.
You're one of the richest men in America.
They conned me. I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on the up and up, and they conned me. At this stage, I have no ability to predict.
Ballmer swore the Clippers only connected Kawhi Leonard to Aspiration after both his extension and the sponsorship deal were locked in. Former Mavericks owner Mark Cuban even stepped in to back him up on social media, saying the whole plot didn't add up, pointing out Leonard's 2021 ACL injury and Ballmer's massive fortune. Cuban argued that if this was some deliberate plot, Aspiration wouldn't have collapsed into bankruptcy, and Ballmer likely got scammed too. Tor fired back by inviting Cuban onto his podcast debate, adding yet another twist to the unfolding mess. But here's the kicker that makes this scandal even juicier. Kawhi Leonard's past is packed with controversies that make this latest scandal look like just another chapter in a long-running saga. Let's rewind the tape, shall we? First stop, the notorious 2017-18 San Antonio Spurs fallout that had Spurs fans ready to torch Leonard's jersey. That season, Leonard suited up for only 9 games because of quadriceps injury. But the real storm came from the clash between Leonard's personal doctors and the Spurs medical team over his recovery timeline. Things boiled over in March 2018 during a tense, emotional players-only meeting where veterans like Tony Parker begged Leonard to return. Parker's infamous comment that his own injury was 100 times worse, but he healed faster absolutely crushed Leonard's reputation in San Antonio. To this day, Spurs fans haven't forgiven what they see as a betrayal and lack of transparency. One Redditor summed it up perfectly. Kawhi got hurt, goes to the team for almost a whole year, and every report said he was just 2 to 4 weeks from being back. Dude's a clown. Fans argued that if Leonard had just communicated, he wouldn't be nearly as hated today. Then came the infamous load management saga that has driven Stephen A. Smith insane for years. Since joining the Clippers in 2019, Leonard has only appeared in 52.4% of regular season games, missing 256 out of possible 435. That's basically half the season gone every year, while cashing checks worth more than $43 million annually. The NBA even fined the Clippers $50,000 in 2019 for sitting Leonard during a primetime matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks. And let's not forget the free agency tampering allegations in 2019, which connect directly to today's scandal. After guiding the Raptors to their first championship, Leonard's uncle Dennis Robertson allegedly demanded impermissible perks, ownership stakes, private planes, luxury homes, and guaranteed endorsement money. The Athletic reported that Lakers owner Jeannie Buss refused outright because the perks were illegal, while Raptors owner Larry Tannenbaum dangled $15 million in endorsement money, only gets slapped with a warning from Commissioner Adam Silver. But wait, the drama doesn't stop there. In 2023, ex-Clippers performance coach Randy Shelton filed a bombshell lawsuit, piling more fuel onto Leonard's already controversial image. Shelton claimed he was wrongfully fired after raising alarms about the team's mishandling of Leonard's injuries, including being pushed to play through his 2021 ACL tear and a 2023 meniscus tear. He also alleged the Clippers ignored NBA concussion protocols and even barred him from medical meetings, prioritizing profit and wins over their stars' health. Shelton said he had been promised a senior role for helping lure Leonard in 2019, only to be sidelined and axed later. Fans online were outraged. One post read, "The Clippers risking Kawhi's health just to chase revenue is insane." The team denied all charges and filed a motion in January 2025 to shove the case into arbitration. League execs weren't taking it lightly either. An Eastern Conference executive told Sports Illustrated, "This is massive." A Western Conference GM piled on, "Terrible for them. The NBA is going to be furious. The league's credibility is on the line." And given Commissioner Silver's obsession with maintaining competitive balance, the pressure is sky high for heavy sanctions. Even Leonard defenders are running out of excuses. Former teammate Patrick Beverley tried to shield his reputation, saying Leonard's work ethic was legit, saying on his podcast, "I've never seen anyone even close to Kawhi Leonard when it comes to sharpening your skills." But even Patrick Beverley's defense feels empty when you stack it against a mountain of evidence pointing to Leonard's camp playing the system for years. The league's probe is still active, with the NBA keeping their lips sealed on what they found. Yet with Torres' follow-up uncovering the hidden $20 million side deal, plus bankruptcy filings spilling all the details, the proof is piling higher than pancakes at a Sunday brunch. As one Redditor bluntly put it, "Silver is soft. He'll probably hand the Clippers a slap on the wrist. Stern's rolling in his grave." Whatever the final verdict, one fact is clear. Kawhi Leonard's reputation has taken a brutal hit, and his legacy may never fully recover from this scandal. The life of the quiet superstar. Kawhi Anthony Leonard was born in Los Angeles on June 29, 1991, the youngest of 5 kids to Mark Leonard and Kim Robertson, growing up with 4 older sisters. But his childhood turned heavy fast. At just 5 years old, his parents split, and he moved with his mom to Moreno Valley, California. Even after the divorce, Leonard stayed close to his dad, visiting him in Compton on weekends and summers, where Mark Leonard owned a car wash. Then tragedy struck. On January 18, 2008, when Kawhi was only 16, his father was gunned down at that very car wash in a still unsolved murder. The very next day, Leonard showed the resilience that would define his career. He played a high school game, holding it together on the court before breaking down afterward. That loss shaped his famously quiet, guarded personality and drove him to treat basketball as a refuge from life's pain. But heartbreak didn't stop there. In April 2023, his sister Kamisha Monai Williams was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the robbery and murder of an 84-year-old woman at a Southern California casino back in 2019. For the Leonard family, grief and legal turmoil have been recurring shadows. Through it all, Leonard leaned on the stability of his longtime partner, Kishley Shipley, whom he met at San Diego State University. Shipley, a public administration graduate working in HR, has been his anchor, deliberately keeping their relationship away from the spotlight. The couple has 2 children, daughter Kalia Leonard, born July 2016, and son Mark Leonard Jr., born April 2019, named in honor of his murdered father. Leonard's basketball roots began at Canyon Springs High before he transferred to Martin Luther King High in Riverside. As a senior, he led the team to a 30-3 record, averaging 22.6 points and 13.1 rebounds, and was crowned California Mr. Basketball in 2009. Despite the accolades, he was ranked only the 48th overall recruit in the nation, proof of how much he would go on to exceed expectations. At San Diego State, Kawhi Leonard quickly became a powerhouse. Across 70 games over 2 seasons, he put up averages of 14.1 points and 10.2 rebounds, setting the stage for the leap to the NBA, guiding the Aztecs to a 25-9 record as a freshman, where he captured Mountain West Freshman of the Year honors. In his sophomore season, the team advanced to the NCAA Sweet 16, and Kawhi Leonard was recognized as a consensus second-team All-American before officially declaring for the 2011 NBA Draft. Years later, in 2020, San Diego State retired his number 15 jersey, sealing his legendary status at the school. Draft night, June 23, 2011, forever changed Leonard's trajectory. Picked 15th overall by the Indiana Pacers, he was immediately shipped to the San Antonio Spurs, where he'd grow under Hall of Fame coach Greg Popovich. Choosing to wear number 2, inspired by his childhood idols, Leonard wasted no time, landing on the NBA All-Rookie First Team in 2012. His rise with the Spurs was lightning fast. After helping them reach the 2013 finals, a heartbreaking loss to Miami, Leonard's breakout came in the 2014 rematch. Leading the Spurs to a 4-1 finals victory, he dropped a career-best 29 points in Game 3 and claimed finals MVP at just 22 years old, making him the third youngest finals MVP ever. Leonard kept climbing, securing back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards in 2015 and 2016, joining legends Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon as the only players to pair finals MVP with DPOY honors. Financially, he was also leveling up. In 2015, he signed a 5-year, $90 million contract, proof of San Antonio's faith in his ceiling. By the 2016-17 season, Leonard was averaging a career-best 25.5 PPG and had cemented himself as a full-fledged superstar. Then came the turning point that reshaped his image, the infamous 2017-18 quadriceps saga. Limited to just 9 games, Leonard's dispute with the Spurs' medical staff over his rehab shattered trust. By June 2018, he demanded a trade, shocking the NBA and branding himself as a star unafraid to force his way out. That summer, the Toronto Raptors took the gamble. In July 2018, they dealt DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a first-rounder to acquire Leonard and Danny Green. It paid off immediately. Despite suiting up for only 60 regular season games due to load management, Leonard averaged 26.6 PPG and turned into an assassin in the postseason. His iconic Game 7 buzzer beater against Philadelphia, the first ever in a Game 7, still gives fans goosebumps. The 2019 Finals was his masterpiece. Leonard's 732 playoff points ranked third all-time, behind only LeBron James and Michael Jordan. His Finals MVP performance over the Golden State Warriors delivered Toronto's first championship, making him one of just 3 players in history to win Finals MVP with 2 different franchises. Canada practically wanted to hand him the keys to the nation, but then came a decision that enraged Lakers fans and broke Raptors' hearts. In July 2019, Leonard stunned everyone by signing a 3-year, $103 million contract with the Los Angeles Clippers, snubbing both the Lakers and Raptors. That move brought Paul George along, forming a so-called super team built to dominate the West. Yet Leonard's Clippers tenure has been marked not only by flashes of brilliance, but also by moments constantly interrupted by long injury absences. In his Clippers debut versus the Lakers, Kawhi Leonard erupted for 30 points, and later that season, he earned 2020 All-Star Game MVP honors. But injuries have been the defining theme of his LA tenure. A torn ACL in 2021 wiped out his entire 2021-22 season, while a 2023 meniscus tear again cut deep into his availability. Despite the setbacks, Leonard's financial climb hasn't slowed. In January 2024, he inked a 3-year, $152.4 million extension, bringing his total Clippers haul to over $400 million when added to his earlier contracts. His career salary earnings alone have crossed $325 million, not even counting endorsements. Speaking of endorsements, Leonard's business portfolio extends far beyond the now notorious Aspiration deal. Since 2018, he's been the face of New Balance, leaving Jordan Brand for his own signature shoe line. He's also partnered with Cargo Jet Airways and Honey, pulling in about $5.5 million annually from sponsorships. By 2025, his net worth is estimated near $120 million, proof that on-court dominance has fueled his financial empire. Still, Leonard lives true to his understated personality. He continues driving his old 1997 Chevy Tahoe from high school instead of flaunting flashy cars. Even though he owns a $17 million LA mansion, he prefers quiet hobbies, playing piano, fishing with family and friends, and even producing music. In 2021, he released a hip-hop album, Culture Jam, to benefit a foundation honoring Kobe and Gianna Bryant. His bond, his hometown, remains strong too. That same year, Leonard donated a basketball court to Western Park in Moreno Valley, saying, "It's hard for me to forget Moreno Valley, because I was always back and forth, visiting my dad in LA every weekend." His reserved nature has been both a blessing and a curse. Leonard has famously said, "I'm not in this league for fame. I'm here to take care of my family, my mom, my friends, and myself. Many fans admire that authenticity and dedication to the game, but critics, most loudly Stephen A. Smith, see it as a lack of leadership and fan connection. On paper, his resume is undeniable. 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 6 All-Star selections, 3 All-NBA first-team honors, and 7 All-Defensive Team nods. In 2021, he was named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team, securing his place among the all-time greats. Yet the shadow remains. Leonard's legacy is complicated, plagued by recurring injuries and now tainted by questions surrounding his business dealings. Since arriving in LA, he has missed 290 games over 8 seasons while raking in more than $325 million. His withdrawal from the 2024 U.S. Olympic team due to knee issues only deepened doubts about his durability and commitment. And now, the Aspiration scandal looms over everything. Whether Kawhi Leonard knowingly participated in a salary cap dodge or simply left business decisions in Uncle Dennis's hands, the allegations have already tarnished his reputation and could stain his legacy permanently. At 34 years old, as he pushes to maintain elite play, he faces the added weight of legal battles and investigations that might derail his career's final chapter. The man once celebrated as a quiet professional is now battling scrutiny over his ethics and integrity. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the card on your screen.